Hey guys, it's Kristine Leahy, and it's time for another edition of Best Thing I Heard This Week. Plaxico Burress talked about playing in extreme weather.
Me and Eli went out to work to run routes before the game, as we always do every game, like 3 hours before the game. And we walk into the stadium and nobody's outside, and we're like, "There's a game starting in a few hours. Where's everybody at?" And us not knowing that, it was like 2 or 3 minute frostbite advisory. Right? And we're just like, okay, it's cold. We know it's cold, but so I get out, I run a couple routes, and I run over to Eli. He's like, "What's wrong?" I'm saying, "I can't feel my hands." And he was like, "All right, well, let's go back inside." So I went back inside and told the trainers and told the equipment staff, I said, "Hey, man, we have a problem." He said, "What's that?" I said, "I can't feel my hands. It's that cold outside." So we made a few adjustments, to say the least, that weren't, league approved at the time. And so I walked into the training room. It was I had never worn like tights or, spandex shirts or anything like that. But for that game, it was so cold that I had no choice. So I walked into the training room, and they just rubbed my whole body down like Vaseline.
Vaseline?
Yeah.
Your whole body?
My whole body like Vaseline. So it was like I had like a adult onesie on with the tights. I stepped into this like onesie and zipped it up with the sleeves.
Did it work?
The pants. Oh, it was
why
awesome.
the Vaseline?
It's supposed to like keep the heat in.
Yes, it's a
Skin,
protect.
from what I understand.
So you had like a squishy kind of thing underneath your tights.
I wouldn't say squishy. It was so cold that when you got outside, it kind of just, you just felt normal. But when I put it on my skin, and I put the adult onesie on, it didn't feel pleasing, to say the least. But I put it. They rubbed my body out in Vaseline. So then I go to the trainer and say, "Hey, my feet are freezing. What are we going to do?" And Ronnie Barnes said, "Hey, take these foot warmers. The foot warmers that you go skiing in."
Yeah.
He said, "Take these shoe liners and put them in your cleats." And I say, "Okay, I'm gonna do one better." I took the shoe liners out of the package and taped them to the bottom of my feet. And the trainer's like, "Plex, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm putting them on my feet." They said, "No, they go in your shoes." And I say, and he says, "Well, you can't do that. They're going to burn your feet." And I say, "Well, if they burning my feet during the game, then that means I'm going to be running pretty fast."
Joel Klatt told us why Nick Saban is built for championships.
Look at all the national championships that Nick Saban has won. I mean, this guy, when he gets to this point, he does not disappoint. I mean, the margins have been huge. Granted, they had Colt McCoy leave that game in his first national championship. Then they drubbed LSU, who beat them earlier in the season. They dismantled Notre Dame. I mean, this is a team that when they get to this point, they're the biggest, fastest, most athletic sharks in the water. And right now there's chum, there's blood in there. And man, they strike at this point. When there's a ring on the line, Nick Saban is great.
Peter Schrager gave us insight into the NFL's move to LA.
At the end of the day, Colin, it was follow the money, and Stan Kroenke was the money. At the end of the day, he was the one willing to put up all the money, and the owners, they looked at it and said, okay, this is the safest bet. Behind closed doors, I told you last week, there was a lot of politicking going around. I called it Boss Tweed and kind of Old Boys Network, and that was going in. There was a committee that made a recommendation on this that was focused of 6 owners, and they recommended to all the owners, they said, let's go with the Carson Project. They said, that's the best project. Then they presented, and I was told it was like looking at a DVD to a VHS cassette, the 2 proposals, and Inglewood just made so much sense. So they did a public vote in front of everybody in the room, 32 guys, and it was 20-12. You need 24 for it to be approved. Okay, it was 20-12 Inglewood, and at that, Dean Spanos, Mark Davis, they were shocked. What do you mean, guys? We've been talking, like you said before the break, what are you talking about? We thought we had this, what's going on? So then there's time to kind of deliberate and politic a little bit more, then they're going to take another vote. This one was going to be secret ballot, and Colin, guess what the votes were? 30-2. Once it was a secret ballot, and they didn't have to look them in the face, didn't have to look Jerry Richardson in the face, didn't have to look Spanos in the face. Everyone knew, for the NFL, for the city of LA, for everyone's wallets, this was the best decision, and it is the best decision. The key player in all this, and you'll love this, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones spoke to these guys individually and said, what are we doing? This Inglewood project is not only the best thing for the NFL, it's the greatest sports project we've ever done with financing of a stadium. Stan's willing to fund it all, and we're all going to benefit huge from this. Jerry Jones has as much power in that room as anyone, and he comes at it from a business sense, not a loyalty sense, not a let's take care of this guy because he's our buddy. They all value his opinion most when it comes to finances, and I'm told leaving that room yesterday, Steve Tisch, the Giants owner, beaming, Robert Kraft, Kristine's friend, beaming. Everyone was ecstatic that they got this done because they know that their wallets are going to get fatter from this.
Carlos Boozer let us in on his hair secret.
I lost my hair, as you can see.
Yeah.
I'm bald-headed, and I had a barber come up to me and tell me, I can put this thing called Beijing on your hair.
Beijing?
Yes, Beijing. It's like a dye. And I was like, okay, let me try it out. I'm thinking, maybe I look a little younger.
Sure.
Let me go for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he starts putting it down. I can't see it right now. I'm just getting it done. And I go in the mirror after he finishes my cut, and it just looks like black tar on my head. And I'm like, I wash it out. I washed it 7-8 times, and it still wouldn't come out. And then on top of that, the next day I had to go to shoot around with my teammates. And my teammates are like, Booze, what you do to your hair? I said, yo, this is Beijing, and I can't even get it out.
And Bill Burr revealed his true feelings for Jim Irsay.
What about the Colts?
What about them?
You know-
They're in Indiana. They grow corn. They don't do anything out there. They have one of the highest clan memberships of any state, by the way. They don't do anything out there.
So
Jim Irsay, that guy's a saint. We're evil. Dude, Jim Irsay like that. How did he get Andrew Luck?
Well, it was a draft.
Yeah, it was a draft. And how did they get in that position?
They were bad. They throw
Keep
game.
thinking. Get to November. Get to November when Peyton Manning comes back going, hey, remember me? Face of the franchise. And for the first time ever, an ownership was concerned about the long-term effects of playing football. Like, we're worried about you. He had too many miles on him, and then they just they tanked the whole last third of the season.
It's a pretty good point.
It's a tremendous point. How about this? Jim Irsay sat on the competition committee, and he changed the rules. He spearheaded changing the rules of coverage because he couldn't beat the Patriots' defense. And then his new rules shifted the advantage because they had a better offense than we had a defense. And within 2 years, they won a Super Bowl. Did we cry about it? We didn't. We just played by their rules. That guy's the biggest baby in all of sports. And if he was in the mob, he would have got whacked.
This has been Best Thing I Heard this week. Tune in weekdays at noon Eastern.